We're doing it. We're doing it live. Do it live. Hello, good people. Good evening and welcome to this ice cream social, the first of possibly more. We'll see how things go and how the year pans out. But yes, we're calling it an ice cream social for reasons that will become apparent as we get into it and talk about various things. That introductory music I played is a song called Open Step. Open Steps, is it plural? No, The Open Step, which was an original song arrangement from JeffC, who's now sadly no longer with us, but he did leave some amazing creative music and lots of other work with us. And part of what we're going to do tonight is revisit some of that work that he did most recently before his death, and also talk about a lot of the things that are going on, the bigger picture. For those that remember one of the live broadcast shows that Jeff used to do with several other people as well, once it got going and got popular, the bigger picture, where they would talk about anything and everything, but you know, the big questions of what was going on at the time in the world, and the roots of where a lot of these things come from and how they develop, how they've been woven into the agendas and the propaganda and the media and all throughout our lives and our experience of this world. Yes, so here we are. It's an extra broadcast for me on a Tuesday night. Normally I'm only on the Monday night, but yes, wanted to get this organized. Thanks to Camille, Please Stop the Ride, for organizing it, because I'm terribly disorganized. I was quite happy to vicariously hand off that responsibility and let somebody else organize it, but we did eventually get set up and get together and get this organized to get it going. And as I say, hopefully we'll come back and do some more in the future. But let's get into talking about some of those sort of points raised in the beginning of what I've been saying. Yeah, that was a track from JeffC, a music track from JeffC on his Black Dog Brunsey channel. His original channel, JeffC channel, Just Censored channel, is still available on YouTube, so you can go and check out his work, download his work, you know, share it, work your way through it, because it might take you a while, because there is a lot of good stuff there, and he goes over a lot of topics that are not easily addressed or digested in a short 5-minute 5 fast facts kind of video. They're things that you will need to spend a bit of time researching for yourself and thinking about, and you know, considering before you really start to get a grasp of how these things connect together, and it's all interwoven into one big tapestry of manipulation. And his Black Dog Brunsey channel is still available, so if you like that song, go and check out his channel. There's a few original arrangements on there, and there's a lot of cover songs of what he used to play, a lot of folk and country music kind of stuff, really excellent guitar work stuff. So if you like guitar playing, check it out. But first of all, to introduce Please Stop the Ride, Camille, and Venomnymous. That's Meet the Savage channel. I'll put both links to both channels in the info box under the video, so if you want to go and check out the channels, please do. But yeah, let's talk about some of the stuff around the situation with JeffC and his passing. And Camille, you wanted to say some things about that, so do you want to jump into it and we'll get on with it?
Yeah, thanks, Cookie. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to take a couple minutes at the start and address some questions for clarification and whatnot that I keep getting. Anyway, at the risk of having my words twisted, I thought that I would go over that. So when Jeff didn't show up that Friday, I was pretty much thinking that it was just the migraine. He had mentioned a migraine. And then as the days went on, I got pretty upset, and my mom was upset too, but she sat at the computer, I don't even know for how long, and she scrolled back through Jeff's Twitter to the early days of when he was on there, and she took screenshots of anybody that looked like they might have been friends of his, and she was just trying to help, and she sent screenshots to Grace, who was able to recognize someone that she could reach out to, and then we know the rest of that story. Grace has already told us. And I know that there are accounts out there that are pushing notions like Grace shouldn't be trusted. Well, I have no reason to believe that Grace would lie to me, but these channels that are, I've read their comments, some of them, and seen videos and whatnot, and I have no reason to believe anything these people say because I have heard them and read them say blatant lies about me. So for me, it's easy. You know, I know that they're liars, but for everybody else, I guess you just have to consider the source and then make up your own mind. But I already talked about this. I already addressed this in a pinned comment on the video that I put up, the clip from my last, sorry, I get emotional. That last,
all right, take your time.
Sorry, that last show with Jeff. And I had that as a pinned comment. I explained, and that was there until New Year's Eve. And then on New Year's Eve, I saw that on a comment that Grace had left me on the JeffC to the World video, that some account had left a reply to her that was just horribly nasty. And I wasn't going to let that stay there. I mean, she had just had a baby and just lost a dear friend. And I wasn't going to let my channel be where someone would say something like that to her. So I deleted it. And then I left home and I went to a New Year's party for a few hours. And when I came home, I'd never seen anything like it. I don't mean to make anybody think I'm upset about that. It was just stupid. My channel had been bombarded. Those two videos about Jeff had been, they were filled with just such stuff. I mean, it's Camille's a murderer, Camille's a shill, killed the shills, all these accounts I'd never seen before. And some that had been commenting for a while. But and so I sat there and started deleting all those, which just seemed to fuel them. And then there was more comments, and I saw that they started leaving replies under other people's comments. So I got no notification about that. And it's just like scrolling through all of this. There's like 1,000+ comments on these videos. And I didn't have the time or the energy to deal with that. And so I disabled the comments, which then deleted my pinned comment, which then I guess there was all kinds of other stories woven about. I deleted what I said. Oh, I don't even know. But anyway, I hope that for the good people out there that helps. Anybody else, I don't know what to say to you. But anyway, can we talk about ice cream now? I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I did just put a link in the side chat as well, because as Society of the Spectacle in the chat has just commented on the official tribute page, the Jeffrey Cleveland's memorial page, which I've just put a link in, which is on the Montreal Gazette. You can see there are literally hundreds of comments.
Yeah.
And there's some great comments on there. So, unfortunately, the internet is the internet. You can encounter a lot of very unpleasant people on the internet.
I'd never seen anything like it. It was crazy.
Yeah, but this is part of what the internet is. So no matter what is said to some people, they're not going to accept the information, no matter what you say. And there's some people out there who have deliberate purpose to keep some kind of drama or controversy going. So they're never going to accept what's said or shown to them, or the information that's there, they're just not going to take it. So,
yeah.
These people are cowards. They just go after women because they think that they're more vulnerable. They don't come after me at all. They freaking run the other way because I school them. People are jokes. They're nothing. They're just spiritards. They have nothing. They're the losers. So, I mean, forget them. They want to keep in the lie, then go keep in your lie in your own little circle. Losers. Simple as that. Like picking on good people like really Graceful and Camille. It's just disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
You lose all respect for you. Anyone who does that.
I found as well that the majority of what they're saying, the majority of the questions don't really stand up to scrutiny.
No.
Once you start pursuing those questions, they go nowhere and result in nothing. And there's nothing actionable that can be done. Yes, it would be nice. It would be closure in many ways for people to find out all the details, all the ins and outs of what happened, even if potentially something untoward did happen to him. But there's nothing really we can then progress that information onto. So as far as I'm concerned, I've moved on from the point of, as far as I'm concerned, his health and what happened to him was a knock-on effect of all the shit that we're often talking about. And the ice cream is one of those points, the manipulation of the food industry and the connections into cultural media and some of the ways that linkage is used to manipulate people into unhealthy diets. And when I say diet, I don't just mean the physical things you ingest to fuel your body. It also includes the non-physical things that you are ingesting into your mind, into your spirit. Yeah, and Jeff was aware of all this stuff. So, yes, it would be great to find out, exactly what happened and that kind of thing. But as far as I'm concerned, he put in the effort. Yeah, he's done his work. It's now time for other people to, carry that forward. So let those people who want to keep fixating on it, fixate on it. And let's move to talking about things like the quality of the work he did and the content that he raised, the subjects that he raised to people's attention. Now, I think a good starting point would be, so if I'll screen share just the image to start things off, because I think this is a good way of sort of introducing the kind of content I'm referring to. And this one particular video really does, act as a great example of what I'm referring to, of how Jeff, he describes it in the video himself as like, I'm falling down the rabbit hole. But this video is an exposition of you watching me fall down the rabbit hole, and he demonstrates how he follows the links of connections of information. They may not be directly stated in the content that he's sharing, but the connotated links are there from one idea, one ideology to another, to another, to another. And the methods of influence that are being used to try and steer people in the direction that I'd like to call them the usurpers or the manipulators, the cabal, however you choose to define them. But those people that are trying to carry this out, they're trying to push this influence onto the public. But just this image, I'll scroll it forward a little bit so people can see some of the other imagery. And we will play this in a little bit, but I want to give both Camille and Venomnymous a chance to talk on this before we move on. Let me just find the robot itself image. Where's it gone? See, he's already digressed into referencing other subject matter, and all I wanted to find was the image of the robot with the ice cream. There you go. Yeah, the robot in the White Room, which is deliberately reminiscent of the 2001 movie, and Jeff explains a lot of that, those kind of connections. But there's the old woman in the White Room, old white woman in a white room, and along comes the robot to give her ice cream. Because in the future, all the people have died. That's what the robot tells the old woman. All the people are gone, but at least there's ice cream. And this is the kind of psychological manipulation that on the surface may just seem like brand marketing. This is just commercialism, but it's not. There's a lot more subtle undertone to this of influencing the way people think.
Yeah, a commercial like this would not make me want to eat that ice cream.
No. Completely the opposite for me.
Yeah.
Like put a bad taste into all the ice cream I've eaten since.
Yeah.
It's put me off ice cream for a while, certainly. But yeah, I suppose I should explain. This is one of the last few videos that Jeff had on his channel, Jeff Censored. It's called This Will Blow Your Mind. What's the date on it? December 14th. He uploaded this. So yeah, not so long before he was gone. But it's about an hour and 20 minutes long. I would certainly recommend people watch it. If you're new to his work, it's a good example of the kind of thing, the kind of subject matter that he would cover, and his style of amassing and amalgamating that information and presenting it to the public in his content. So yeah, highly recommend. I should put a link in the chat as well. But is there anything you want to say before we move a bit further?
Were you going to play any of that? I have something I could say on that's the Halo Top brand, right? Or
Yeah.
was that? Yeah. I didn't know in something else that I was looking at that they were the first modern day alternative ice cream to come on the scene in 2012. They said they do all kinds of weird stuff, like put fiber and protein, extra protein in there.
Mm-hmm.
All
It
kinds
does
of weird
actually.
things.
It says it on the packaging, doesn't it? Protein.
Yeah. Because protein is good, right?
Does anyone know the year of that commercial?
I don't.
The video that Jeff's referencing in this video, is uploaded 2017. And I'm guessing that's an accurate date to its production.
Well, it's perfect. The 17. The 17 is really big this year.
Well, look, it's actually 7/7/2017. Except, yeah, this is something he doesn't. I don't think he notices, or maybe he wasn't aware of, or he might have not remembered. Later on in the video, he gets into explaining some of the connections to the gaming industry, the games market, and one of the games he references is the Halo game, because the latest version of that was due out soon. And on it, you can see it there on the main character that you're obviously meant to play in the game storyline is number 117. Now, a lot of people may not be aware. September, sept actually means 7. So in a calendrical sense, on the calendar, September is actually the 7th month. That's what it used to be in the old calendar before, what's his name? Oh, whatever. I can't remember his name off the top of my head at the moment. Before the calendar was changed and they introduced the extra months in the middle of the year, August and June and whatever, to celebrate the Roman emperors. Sept was the 7th month. So when people refer to 9/11, there is another subcode encoded within 9/11, which is 7/11. And 7 is the magic number. In a Kabbalistic sense, 7 has a lot of symbolic reference to the power of magic. And when they say magic, they mean the kind of sorcery of magic, bringing things into existence that shouldn't be, that kind of magic. Manipulating reality around you to get what you want kind of magic. So to me, when they're referencing the 7, there's a lot of those sub-connotations of this is sorcery. What you're witnessing is the encoding, ensorcelment of subtext and symbolism that influences the thinking towards incidents such as 9/11, which Jeff does get into explaining when he references the monolith and the connections to Cubics 2001. Actually, yeah, let's just stop there.
Sorry, but do you know the year that game came out?
The original.
What month?
Do you mean the original or that new version?
That new version with the 117?
No, I don't know, man. I've no
because
idea.
The UK variant is B117.
Right. That's almost late speak as well, isn't it? Like biz.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting if that came out the same month. That's what I would like to know, because the vaccine rollout in UK was announced the same day as the variant. Is it like December 8th or something?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, same time.
Yeah. That's somewhat, I'm thinking that might be some kind of Kabbalistic connection again as well, because the 8 is the infinity. And there's a lot of encoding of that in the cultural media as well, stepping from part of the thing with the 7 as well. 7 is the vector. And when I say vector, that's like in a mathematical sense. It's an indicator that things are rising up into the future. Think as well of this is where it comes from, the Nazi salute. Why is it that they hold their arm out and point it slightly up, inclined upwards? Because it's meant to represent your progress on and upwards into the future. So the 7 is kind of like the magic stepping stone. Think of it as like a springboard in a swimming pool. Yeah? It's meant to be the magic that gives you that spring to leap over infinity, because 8 is like an infinite trap. It is the trap of infinity. Sorry, I'm digressing a lot into very sort of subtle symbology stuff, and we haven't even started getting into things yet. Is there anything else you want to say beyond my rambling? Or do you want me to play this first section?
If you'd like.
Well, I think I can play the first like several minutes, and it would give a good example of what I'm trying to explain. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I need to, first of all, just because of the awkwardness of Billy Bob Gates and his attempts to monopolize and control the virtual world, I have to reopen that video in a different browser so that I can share the audio. Something about StreamYard probably only bought the license to share audio from Google. So it won't actually allow you to share audio in other browsers. You always have to do it in bloody Chrome. But, you know, I'm sure they're loving watching my content creation in their data farm on the Googleplex. Right, okay, yeah, I'll mute myself in a second. I'll just play this through.
I was looking for this Halo commercial. I was making dinner. I had my iPad playing, and I just get freaking stupid ads, right? And I'll try to click through them if I'm there, you know, if I'm able to, but the ad was playing, and sometimes it's important to see these things. And I caught this ad, and I was looking for it for like an hour. I couldn't find it, but maybe you've seen it. Maybe it's brand new. Nobody seems to have it up yet, but it's with the game Halo. And it has a black woman playing the video game and turning into a machine while she's playing the game. And I can't remember the exact sort of slogan or phrase that was used. It was like, you're becoming part of the game. It's almost as if it was meant to be. So by the end of the 30-second quick little short commercial, the black girl turned into a complete robot, basically, or like the Master Chief, but a complete robot version, right? Of the. It was like, I was free. Well, I saw it. I was like, and the thing too is that you can't even push back. I tried doing this on my iPad, and I tried doing it on the desktop. You know, like when you see these commercials, unless you find the actual commercial, unless you actually like somebody's uploaded it to their channel, the commercials that they flash, the quick ones, you can't even scroll back on them. I think they do that on purpose. Somebody will have it up eventually, but then I was looking and I found all this other shit. That's what happens, right? You go down the rabbit hole. So I caught this one here, Halo Top ice cream. So Halo is important because just let me explain, because some people probably have no clue. There is this, I'm going to try and fit this in the window here a bit better here. There is a big video game series on the Xbox that's called Halo. Halo. Now, Halo is, well, I mean, in the game, if you've ever read Ringworld, one of the, classic sort of sci-fi, I don't know if it's from the 60s or 70s, but I read it several times. And it takes place on this orbital sort of station, this orbital world that is like, it's kind of like the circumference, or not the circumference, but the, if you think about the Earth going around the sun sort of thing, making a massive sort of platform, say around a sun or something like that. And they're like they did in the movie Elysium, right? So that there is like this ever expanding huge world, that a ring world sort of thing that simulates gravity and whatever, right? So you know the concept, but the halo is also what Corona is, right? Because it's a ring. That's what they call it, a halo. And I show this all the time. So if you think about when there's this, what you might call it, a lunar eclipse, right? A lunar eclipse of the sun. You get the sun behind the moon, and you get the ring, which is the corona, which is the halo. So this is all dealing with Kobe and everything else. So they're showing us things. So they're saying from the commercial, it seemed to me, well, I mean, it's pretty evident. And there's other commercials. I'm going to show you another one because I found another one that came out just a week ago. And it's getting a lot of praise, but I'm going to show you. It's getting, you know how it works, right? They want the sheeple to see this stuff. The sheep will see it, and then the sheep will have all their, gamer and crap entertainment Hollywood sort of networks that promote it, and everybody sees it, and then everybody has a reaction, and then everybody does a selfie, and then everybody does a reaction video or whatever, trailer reaction or whatever. This is my kind of trailer reaction. But yeah, the theme being that they're turning humans into machines, and they're using video games as one of the methods of accomplishing this, because it's a psychological and it's an addiction. When you get into video games, they suck you in and they rewire your brain, like porn rewires your brain as well. And they know this, so they're doing this to people, and they're showing you more or less in their commercials and whatnot. I mean, I see little tiny slices here and there. I was lucky to catch that. Unfortunately, I don't have it because it's not available as far as I can tell. So check this out. Halo Top ice cream. Now think winter is coming, dark winter, all these things. Ice cream. Now I just covered it the other day, or was it Friday? The fake ice cream sort of thing, right? That they're pushing. It was Ben and Jerry's. And they come out with this frozen dessert. You gotta like the way they put that. Frozen dessert. Yeah, I guess so. And frozen Soylent Green, basically. It's more of the plant-based crap that they're trying to get. And they're going to shift everybody. As I said, the cockroach milk on all these things. They're going to ban milk, regular milk, and eating meat by 2030 for sure. And probably sooner if they get their way. They're turning us all into machines. And I think what they're saying is that it's in the products that probably have this nanotech now that we're all ingesting. And the more of this really crappy stuff you eat, potentially, I don't know. I can't know for sure, but we're going to look further into this. Obviously, Camille, I think of her all the time. Yeah. We got to check more into this, because there's something going on here with this. Like there's something that they're telling us in these commercials. So this is interesting, because you can see how I found this one. Halo Top ice cream, right? Like what would make me search that up? I've never heard that before. Halo Top ice cream. And maybe we could check out the symbolism, because I'll put it in a Scroogle search here and see what it brings up. There, Halo Top ice cream. So they sell it. It seems like it's coming out in a lot of different places, and we'll just look at the images here to see. Yeah. Oh, check this out. This is nuts. Holy crap. Wow. Oh, man. Yeah, I figured there was something worth checking out here. There's a lot of things I catch right away.
So I thought it was worth stopping there. That's quite a good coverage of a lot of the subjects that appear. Like I said earlier, at first when you see that video, you think it's just commercialism. It's just an advert. They're just trying to get you to buy ice cream. But you scratch a little bit deeper. You look a little bit between the lines, and you find there's actually a lot more going on in that than just being an advert for ice cream. At that point, Jeff explained some of the symbolism and the sort of subtle encoding of things that's in the brand style of the tub itself and the product itself, like calling it Halo Top. and the fact that it's got the gold ring, just like a corona, that is part of the, you know, the printing, the honeycomb symbolism. Even the sort of blob of ice cream on the front looks a little bit almost like a cartoon ghost. Yeah, he points out all these elements and the connotations, and then he goes further into, you know, digging down into that rabbit hole. But
I see we lost Venomnymous. Oh, there he is.
He got dropped out, I think.
Yeah, sorry.
Sometimes that's all right. And just if it does happen again, as long as I notice that you're waiting in the lobby, it's not.
Yeah,
a
it was
problem.
my fault. I accidentally clicked the video because I was like searching stuff in the background, and yeah, I got booted.
Yeah, that's cool. StreamYard's quite good in that sense. It's usually quite smooth in reconnecting people. So yeah, I want to just quickly show as well before we sort of talk a bit more about that. The image I use for the thumbnail and in the background at the moment. Camille found this one for us online, and I thought it was highly appropriate because the mask in the imagery, you know, it's quite up to date in that sense. Oh. And there's part of the sort of brand sales of this particular product in one of the other adverts that I'm not sure if he actually shows in that video. But there's a scene where it's loads of the robots are trying to push the ice cream onto the old woman. And there's like a voiceover saying, in the future, at least there's still ice cream. Yeah, so it's sort of that attitude of, as the robot says to the woman, you know, all the people you know are gone. But here, have some ice cream because people need ice cream.
Yeah, they say they're trying to rebrand ice cream and desserts as like a health food, a functional food where they can put all kinds of goodies in there. So
yeah, because I think you can just make out on that packaging, it says frozen dessert. It doesn't actually say ice cream. And on some of the others, it actually says protein. Yeah, so these are not actually ice cream products. They're something else.
There are some weird ones that I've got for us to look at that aren't but that I don't have those links ready yet. Okay,
well, just let me know when or just put them in the screen share and they'll show up at the bottom of my screen.
Oh yeah, I can push that. Can't I do have, so on the, I know that Venomnymous and I had just been talking about in email, and we talked before the show that, and Jeff had mentioned in the last bone broth show that he did that maybe the whole cold chain for the vaccines was just to mess with us. That I know he was concerned that they were putting the things in the ice cream, which I wouldn't doubt, not necessarily vaccines. I don't know. I have no proof on that, but that they'd put their other little toys in there. But
the mRNA has been described as an operating system.
Yeah, was that, what's her name? I can't remember. Fitz, I thought said something. Catherine.
I can't remember either now thinking about it. It's just occurred to me. But they were, they did make effort to explain that when they say that, they didn't mean an operating system like Windows, like a computer operating system. I think they meant it as it is a platform from which they can build upon in the future.
Oh, sure.
This is part of the reasoning why they're so desperate to get as many people as possible to have it, because it's putting the foundation of their platform into your biology, so then they can possibly, and this is where you get into that speculation of the contents, it means there could be something added to these kind of food products or pretend food products,
food replacement products,
that will then add on to that foundational framework that is the mRNA, what they're calling a vaccine.
Oh yeah, they're telling us that they can turn our bodies into the factories, that they can turn your cells into produce whatever code. Plug it in. It's a software thing.
That was a really interesting video that you covered a while ago, talking about the biological factories, the cellular factories that they can generate.
That's crazy. I'm working on something too touches
The
on
little
this.
espresso machines were, vaccine espresso machines, basically. The little
I saw
tiny
one.
manufactories, micro factories or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little printers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a 3D printer.
You
Yeah.
said and that made me think of I saw an ice cream dispenser on that Ag Funder News where they're doing like the Keurig cups sort of thing, like for coffee makers, but it's ice cream and there's no cleaning, no touchless, all this stuff. You just pick your pod and it fills up this soft serve. It's weird.
Yeah, I saw an article on that, but I when I lost all my data, I lost the links and stuff that I had to that.
Oh, I feel you.
It hasn't popped up in the news lately, so I don't know. I just didn't go digging for it after that. And apparently you already knew about it, so it's all right.
I don't have that link ready though. Either.
Part of like the I suppose I could describe it as background noise of the steady flow of censorship is that a lot of links like that are just vanishing from online. Things that you may, like you read an old article that's got hyperlinks in it and you think, oh yeah, I'll check out what they're referencing, and there's just nothing there. It's gone.
Yeah.
Right.
They seem to like talking about their science experiments, the stuff that they want to feed us. Yeah, that what I have there, I don't know if you can read that, but this was let me look at it here. It's a study from 2019 that they were saying it's advances in mRNA vaccines for infectious diseases. But it says, I don't know how I did that. It says here that currently most vaccines in use, with the exception of some animal ones, need to be transported and stored in an uninterrupted cold chain process. But the mRNA makes it possible. Maybe that was the next one. Yeah, that it's a promising novel platform that's highly flexible, scalable, inexpensive, and cold chain free. So now they're saying that they don't need the cold chain as much, but looks like back in 2019, they were already talking about, and I think this involved a GlaxoSmithKline person in this study. No conflicts of interest, of course.
Yeah. And no competition.
Oh, yeah.
It's not allowed. Competition is a sin. I'm wondering as well, though, because there's more of those sort of, I'm going to call them subtle and subliminal, but, obviously they're not to people who have the eyes to see, because this kind of thing stands out to you more than anything most of the time. But there's those kind of connotations that the sort of transportable fridges that they were using, or freezers, I should say, were very cube-like.
Yeah.
Jeff references that in his video, and TMF covered it as well about the
6x6x6.
Yeah, the actual dimensions of the things are just, that's why I was dubious about using the word subtle, because this kind of stuff is not subtle. It's meant to be in your face if you know about the kind of symbology stuff, So a 6x6x6 cube that is kept at a very, very low temperature compared to what most people experience in general day-to-day life. You don't encounter temperatures like -70, and there's that 7 again that was involved in the whole thing. But it does make me more inclined to say that kind of narrative, that they had to ship this out in those freezer units that just happened to be 6x6x6, blah, blah, blah. That's not exactly because of a necessity, even though they make the claim that the mRNA, being biological, had a risk of decomposition, therefore the fridges were needed to sustain them, give them kind of like shelf life. But to me, it's more that they're making, again, that connotation reference to what primarily comes out of religious narratives, primarily the Judeo-Christian religion. And the elements of, in the older traditions, it's only a more modern comprehension that hell is hot, and filled with fire, and a lake of fire, and the devil's all about hot and fiery stuff, that kind of imagery. That's a somewhat modern creation. In the older traditions, hell was frozen. It was an icy void. It was nothing but solid ice. Because I feel anyway, I'll try and be quick with my explanation. That kind of archetypal foundational structure, the theological structure, comes from or lends from older traditions, including Hermeticism and things like pantheism and animism, etc., and represents the elemental nature of reality. So if animated beings, because think of some of the symbology is still in the common culture for religious and theological stuff. Animated beings are filled with the essence of the flame, the fire, the living fire of the God, of the creator being. So if you're an animate thing, if you're a living being, you are filled with fire, the element of fire. That is what animates you. Yeah, that is what gives you life, the living experience. Whereas when that fire is removed, you end up with just dense material, solid material, rock, stone, lead. Yeah. So in the older traditions, the concept of what was anti-God, what was anti-life, was the complete lack of that divine fire, that divine spark. So hell was a frozen wasteland. The devil, Lucifer, lived in a void of ice, of solid ice.
So the saying of when hell freezes over is not,
yes.
Okay, not necessarily. Yeah.
It was a bit of it was a deliberate inversion, I feel, to steer people away from the knowledge and to create a nightmare guilt manipulation. Because what's the common kind of thing that you hear in that sense is like, oh, that preacher's all fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
It's the kind of rhetoric where if you didn't obey the rules, you would get damned to this horrible hell of being burned alive in a lake of fire and prodded with pokers and all that kind of nasty stuff. It was a method of manipulating people psychologically through fear. Whereas if you tried to explain to them the theological and philosophical concepts of, well, you're animate, you are a living, moving being, that requires energy within your system. That energy is the living fire of the creator of everything. So what's the opposite to that? The opposite to that is the complete absence of that living fire that gives you that animation. So therefore, what we refer to as the devil or the anti-God is obviously something that's totally immobile, totally frozen, totally lacking the heat of that fire. So to me, what they're saying with that kind of narrative of you need a 6x6x6 cube that is a container of the kind of depths of cold, of frozen existence that would cease your life. If you were stuck in one of them freezers, you'd be dead probably fairly rapidly within minutes.
I wonder if the whole dispersing these freezers all around has anything to do with like cryonics, where they have to get frozen right away. Maybe if they can stuff the good people, or their people, not the good people. But
yeah. Well, I dread to think the state of Disney's head when they finally try and thaw it out. It'll probably fall to pieces. But yeah, that mRNA connection to the needing to be in a fridge connects to the promotion of this stuff that they refer to as ice cream, but it's not really cream. It's not a real dairy product, because they're slowly trying to train us out of making use of animal products, which obviously includes milk, dairy production.
Okay, and they're open about wanting to redefine food, all the different things. So
yeah. So therefore, they want us into eating this, consuming this stuff that is somehow synthetic or produced in a lab in some fashion, which could include vaccines or other chemical or genetic treatments that they think we need to have. So then we get to that sort of transition point, like you were referring to before I started rambling off. That transition point of now they're saying they don't really need the freezers because the technology has now enabled them to, not need that deep cold to keep them in.
on the deep cold, I know some of this Venomnymous. Is my screen still showing? I'm in a different window,
Yes.
I guess. Yeah. That Venomnymous had sent over to the Dippin Dots people. Do you know Dippin Dots, Cookie?
No.
They're like little balls. Let's see if one of these other ones has a better picture. They're
Like a snack food.
they're little ice cream balls.
Right.
They're little. I think they
That's
said they use liquid nitrogen, but they also,
Cryogenics.
yeah,
like just flash freeze it kind of thing.
yes, it's like spraying out, and they say that they can use their technology for all sorts of things, and that they already are using it for vaccines. Where's the one I have? I have all these things printed out here, but yeah, they were saying that they've developed this ultra cold storage, that their stuff doesn't have to be kept as cold as the narrative was pushing for the mRNA, but that they have freezers that are available, and they were selling those and shipping them out that are already, some of their freezers, they say, are already being used for vaccine storage. And it says that they say in quotes, they're using our equipment to pelletize just like we pelletize our ice cream. And that's when they're talking about the COVID-19 vaccines. So yeah, and they say on, I think it's on this page where it says that they can use their contraptions for pharmaceutical, nutraceutical, vitamin supplements, feed industries, animal livestock, and aquaculture, which this diversifying from their ice cream treats, it kept them going during the whole 2020 thing.
And it could also act as a kind of carrier, for things like the pharmaceuticals and vitamin supplements. They could be added into the mixture of what they then make ice cream out of. Or the dots, as they call them. There's a couple of other things in this that make me, I just want to add these things in because I think they're all part and parcel of the agendas. They're just different elements being added. Have you heard the phrase shrinkflation? Shrinkflation. Yeah. You know what inflation is. Yeah. There has been steadily over quite a while now, decade plus probably at least, maybe more, but a steady progress of shrinkflation, which is where basically they reduce the total quantity within the package that you receive for paying the same price.
Oh, okay.
So it's a way of hiding inflation in the economic system. So let's say 20 years ago, you used to get 100 grams in the package when you bought it for $1. Now you only get 60 grams in the package when you buy it, but it's still $1. So therefore, that's actually inflation, but you've been tricked into not noticing the inflation because they didn't add more money to the cost. Instead, they removed some of the content.
Yeah.
And in that kind of fashion, and this is where there's other connotations into a subject that I'll just refer to as the flirth. And people who regularly listen to Jeff will know what I mean when I say the flirth. This is a flirth element because their very machinery demonstrates how nature will resolve to the sphere. Within this reality, the way this reality works, the most efficient shape in reality is a sphere. So when you project liquids out of a machine like that, what do you end up with? Spheres, little tiny spheres that they call Dippin Dots. But in doing that process, they are reducing the amount of content they're giving you in the packaging. So you think you're buying a tub of ice cream, and what you're actually buying is slightly less than the size of the content because these things are little circular dots.
Yeah.
These are the little tricksy ways that the agenda is woven in to affect various elements. That's more about economy and hiding the dilution of our food resources.
There's other funny things with Dippin Dots. I know Venomnymous had pointed out that the guy that started it, who's not the guy that owns it now, right? Was it that Venomnymous? He's the microbiologist, right?
He's a microbiologist.
He was using cryo.
Go ahead.
No, he was using it initially for animal feed to make for farm animals. Yeah,
that's
very
lovely.
Interesting. Yeah. And that it was
sorry, go ahead.
it was 33 years ago, right? That they
Yes,
started.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The company's now 33 years old.
And I guess I don't have this link here either, but I saw in August of 2019 they opened a new $3.3 million manufacturing facility to make the side products. Another thing they do is they're big on the plant-based meat. They make the little fat balls to include in to make them
yummy,
juicy. Yeah.
I wonder if Billy Bob or one of his subsidiaries has some investments in that company.
I didn't look. I should have. Yeah. The one I had the other company name here. Yeah.
Before you move on to another link or tab, can we
Sorry.
please have a link for the one you showed first, the NCBI link?
Yes.
Taz was asking for it in the chat because she likes collecting the links for the documents.
I appreciate
that we can share them around on other broadcasts and other platforms and that. If you put it in the private chat in here, and then I can put it into the main chat room for everyone. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll try to collect all the ones too, and I'll put them together. They'll be on the website, linked to my website, linked to this show.
Cool. Good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, they do all kinds of stuff. Yeah, with their probiotics too. The probiotics, that's a crazy thing because your gut's really important. Yeah. We know that's definitely under attack. First, they killed off all your natural life in there with the glyphosate and everything.
I'm not that knowledgeable in terms of the biology, but isn't the immune system keyed to gut bacteria?
Oh yeah, and your mental health.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Is like if they affect the gut bacteria, they are going to create a knock-on effect to the immune system as well, and as you say, people's mental health as well, obviously. Oh
yeah, and they're repopulating everybody's guts with this like man-made life and these tinker toys. Like it's crazy. I need to put together a better video about it because the other video where I mentioned it was leaning heavily on my friend Jules' channel, which YouTube deleted because she had all kinds of deep dives into like the Bacillus subtilis and things that comes up in ice cream again later. I have a link for that too. But yeah, they have the little flagella and they'll travel to other parts of your body, and just that they can transport so much, they can do so much. And yeah, what if they can just tune us all through our guts? Because your vagus nerve, right? They say that reaches all through you. I've got notions that it's been suggested to me by a friend that, there's nothing wrong with me, and I wear those gizmos, but that it even goes to your wrist. They said your vagus nerve. So what if I know there's that one company, I think it's called Sensate. It's like a medallion or a thing that you lay on your chest, and it is to tone your vagus nerve and to calm you and soothe you. So what if they can get you anywhere else that you're putting those things? And that's what they said, that Poppy Crumb said about wearing the wireless earbuds, that they can affect your vagus nerve. So. Yeah. This is why I've been ranting and shouting about the kind of EMF connection to those things for years now, because I know a lot of what they'll actually admit is only now in more recent years starting to come forward because they feel they've normalized the public enough to accept this kind of stuff, like the increasing of the frequencies to 5G and all that kind of stuff. But that element of being able to affect your biology and the frequencies that are part of your biology from a distance. So rather than you needing to have that device on your chest, to affect your vagus nerve, instead they can do it through tones emitted by your smart devices. And those tones will probably be sub-audible. Like I can't remember her name, the woman you were referencing earlier. Jules?
I think so.
Maybe.
The way she was describing it, they can affect your biology through influencing the frequencies that are part of your biology.
Oh, sure. Even if it just trips the trigger on the little Tinker Toys that they've gotten inside of you to make them turn on and start doing things, because we're a chemical cascade. You know, it's a whole big thing to be messing with. It's pretty crazy.
And that links us back to the vaccine element of why is Billy Bob so interested in those microdots and that kind of concept of how to apply vaccinations. It's because that thing can be done at a distance by remote control, basically.
Yeah.
In the book, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, they have this device that basically you can dial up how you want to feel.
Mm-hmm. The Penfield. Is it Penfield or Penfold organ?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And, you can literally. Sorry, there's noise coming up.
That's all right. I know you work.
No noise. I literally had to run around the whole freaking place just to find places where it's quiet. But you dial up your feelings because the machine controls your feelings, how you want to feel. It's just, I think that's something that they're working on for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And tying the ice cream into books, I'm rereading Brave New World again, and I saw the ice cream Soma.
It's a delicious treat.
Yeah.
I haven't got the link to it, but it does actually make me think that recently there was an article, I think it was on the BBC, where they were talking about the experiencing emotions and having AI systems that can help you with moments of depression and melancholy, things like that. And they were promoting it almost in a way of like, it's another experience. Yeah, and that's exactly what Philip K. Dick was referring to in that book, with the Penfield organ. You know, so what if it's the sense of sadness or depression or anxiety? It's still an experience. At least you're actually feeling something, And it was very creepy, the article. I'm pretty sure it was on the BBC. And it was that kind of element of, even though they were offering supposed help with those kind of mental problems or mental distress, at the same time, classic BBC manipulation, at the same time they were promoting it. They were almost saying, while you're stuck at home in lockdown, at least you can go online and enjoy the roller coaster ride sensation of being sad and depressed and all that kind of stuff. It's creepy, horrible. Yeah.
Do you guys remember, it was earlier last year, an article came out by a bioethicist that was talking about how we need to drug everyone so that they accept the vaccines and all the measures?
Is that Julian Sovolescu or whatever? I know.
Oh, I can't remember. I'm bad with names.
Yeah, I think that was him. He's a big fan of fluoride too. Yeah, and he wants to put lithium in the water too. All right, maybe that's not him. Maybe he's another one.
Maybe, but the guy, what if they want to do an ice cream?
Oh, sure. Sure.
Or any food for that matter.
All the food.
It is a lot. And I'd refer back to Jeff's video here again as well about how the way they're presenting it is like, we're taking you into a transhumanist technocracy nightmare of a future, but at least you got ice cream.
Yeah.
Because we know that flavor sensation that people experience when they eat ice cream, it's a pleasure connected to your physical body, your physical senses. So they're really sort of subtly pointing at the concept of you are just an animal tied to your senses.
And how they're really tricking your senses, the bitter blockers and all the stuff that they have to put in there for this plant-based stuff because it tastes so bad.
And the way it's becoming in this modern incarnation of it, this stuff that's not really ice cream because it's not really a dairy product. So therefore, it's already synthetic in some fashion. So what difference does it make if the flavor itself is synthetic? Or, as I think Scott Webb pointed out in the chat earlier, they include things like excitotoxins.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be nasty, nasty stuff, but to you, when you taste it, it's the most fantastic thing you've ever eaten. So of course you're going to eat it. And in that sense, the reason I bring this up is, working from what Venonymous mentioned, this is the version of Soma. The way Orwell presented the concept and the way others have presented the concept in other storylines. Sorry, I shouldn't say Orwell, it was Huxley, wasn't
Huxley,
it?
yeah.
Well, the way he presented the concept was it was a pill, or some kind of pill form that you would ingest, and I like the way they presented it in the modern remake of the story where they have the little like Pez dispenser.
Yeah, that whole
how's your
series
levels?
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say that whole series needs to be analyzed because I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say that the guy's name that I was talking about was Professor Peter Crutchfield.
Oh, sorry. It's a different one.
But yeah, so in a similar fashion to how George Carlin described it years ago, and I've sort of carried on repeating that description because I think it makes perfect sense. The fascism, the modern, what we still use the word fascism, but really it's far beyond that. It's the technocracy nightmare. It's not going to present itself looking like a Nazi stormtrooper. It's not going to be wearing boots and frog marching down the street, doing the Sieg Heil and all that kind of caricature. It's going to make itself look as attractive as it can. And like I've just been describing, the robot, the AI, the mechanistic thing that they're creating is learning what we all want and desire and like and enjoy. And that is, in one version of things that we like and enjoy, is ice cream, because of the taste sensation that it gives us, when we ingest it. So the system, the AI, the robotic mind, the Borg hive mind, whatever you want to call it, is learning that. And in that way, it's learning how to present itself as being as appealing as possible to us. It's like the poisonous insect that has learned to make itself look beautiful. So its prey will be more attracted to its beauty, and then it gets the chance to jab them with its poison. The Soma, we're expecting, a lot of people are expecting it to be presented to us in a kind of pill format like Huxley described it, where it's going to be somewhat obvious what it is you're doing, as in, I'm ingesting a drug to make myself feel better, mate, because you're stressing me out with your weird boggle. What's your boggle, man? It's freaking me out. Yeah? No, this thing is going to present itself as if it's something you really enjoy and you desire and you want it in your life. Yeah. Ice cream.
In Brave New World, most of the food was synthetic. They did keep some organic crops around, but it was mostly synthetic food.
Yeah.
Same with 1984. The food was synthetic as well.
Yeah.
You could barely find real food, and when they did when Winston and his girlfriend they found real coffee and stuff like that. That was what was reserved for the elites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the proletariat.
Mm-hmm. Real quick before I pull my screen share so I can get rid of some of these links and put other ones, because I keep wanting to say something, but I have it elsewhere. I wanted to show that Dippin Dots, so the people with the $3.3 million expansion in the 33 years and how they're so helpful. There's also a 5 fast facts about the guy, the new CEO. So
that was a bit premonition of me then.
Yeah.
5 fast facts.
Yeah.
It's just something that's annoyed me about modern media culture is this kind of stuff. It's like, don't bother spending any time having any comprehension of the subject matter you're looking at. No, just learn these 5 things to repeat, to make yourself seem clever or whatever. Sorry, I'm ranting again.
No, you're good. I don't know if I'm going to stop the screen. There's other things that I have here that I could show before, just that ice cream tested positive for COVID. I'm sure that's no shock. This was in January. This one came out, but they were talking about it was last year in March. Anyway, and I want to show too this weird site, and I can put the links over there for Taz. They're talking the flavors of a COVID-19 vaccine, and it's weird. It's like they're talking ice creamy about all the walking down the ice corridor. I'm usually paralyzed by choice. There are so many different flavors and brands and cartons, but they're talking about the different types of shots. Anyway, I thought it was
That's
weird.
sick. What a sick
Yeah.
way to talk about it.
That's
Oh, the variety. Yay.
it's marketing techniques again, though, isn't it? It's like here in the UK, they've maybe not in a very direct fashion, but they have deliberately put out messaging from the government as well as like the actual commercial brands and whatever. They put out messaging to give the kind of impression that the vaccine may be scarce. You know, they've used that kind of marketing methodology to try and make people desire the vaccine for one reason or another. Yeah?
And then the cold chain aspect, I can't tell you how many articles. Oh, this was thawed, and we had to get people here to get this in their arms, and 1,500 people showed up and lined up so that they could hurry up and get it before it went bad.
Yeah.
There's one guy I was working at a hospital that got arrested and charged for spoiling a batch of vaccines. That was in the news like a few months ago.
I've seen one report of people being arrested, 2 women who tried to disguise themselves as old women because the vaccine rollout in that state was only going out to the elderly at the time. So little elements like that, they may be presented as genuine news, but they're more likely to be that kind of marketing ploy, to make people think that the vaccine is scarce and they better rush to get theirs now. Like the toilet paper shortage.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a kind of level of psychological manipulation that they will employ, and it's some of the stuff that's easier to spot because most people will recognize that kind of marketing style of advertising, that kind of thing. These sort of well-established commercialist marketing psychology. I think a lot of people are more aware of that kind of thing now. Why is it they, pump out the artificial smell of baking bread when you go in a supermarket? It's because they know it makes you hungry. Then you're more likely to buy more. And so they promote scarcity to make you think that if you don't go and get it now, you're going to miss out. I had heard anecdotally as well, I had heard stories of people being given the vaccine sort of on the fly because they were lucky enough to be in the clinic, and the clinic happened to have leftover doses because people hadn't turned up for their appointment. So here you go, mate, you can have this one for free kind of attitude.
That reminds me of a story I saw a while back. It was like there was an accident or something on the road, and all these people, they happened to have like an ambulance there, and they gave them all vaccines.
What?
I can't remember where it was located, but I could probably find that again and post it or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they create this shortage stuff because they want to roll out a solution like those 3D printers. That'll be a solution because they'll have one located at every hospital and
eventually on your own counter. Yeah,
exactly. Mm-hmm. Also print your food.
Everything.
They'll print everything. Yeah.
The way they've been presenting the narrative as well, it leapfrogs, and I know they're doing this deliberately, it leapfrogs the question of, well, hang on a minute, haven't people got an immune system anymore? And the way they're presenting it as if you need to start, if you're into computer technology or similar technology, you might have heard the phrase future-proofing, as in you buy something that's a little bit ahead of the curve of the generally commercially available product because you want it to last you a few years before the next updated products come out for that particular thing. Yeah. So, for example, computers, you might buy yourself a computer that's a little bit more expensive because that way it will be still relevant and operating even in 5, 6, 7 years time when Microsoft has updated everything again and again and again such that your old computer can't cope anymore. I think they're sort of working from the premise that they want the general populace to forget the reality that you naturally have an immune system. And instead, this is the transhumanist element coming in. Instead, they want you to accept this new normal where people rely on a little machine on their counter, like you say, like a little 3D printer on their counter. They go, oh, I've just seen on the news with media feeds that there's a new variant spreading through my geographical area, whatever country you live in. Yeah, so I better dial up the latest updated required vaccine out of my machine, and I ingest that one today. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They absolutely want to replace your immune system. That nanovirusides company that I looked at a while back, they say, you know, they are a immune system for you, and their stuff, their biological nanobots they were able to go oral, injection, topical, inhaling. It's crazy how all the different ways that they could get those into you. But the little biological nanobots, that's what, like all the probiotics and all that scary stuff. I have other links open now. I can show you.
Taz is offering you more links as well.
Oh, good.
We are
Thank you.
collecting links today. I'll try and get that one open as well, so we can share that one as well that Taz has just put in the chat. Thanks, Taz.
Thank you.
We're somewhat working a little bit on the fly here, because the way YouTube has become GooTube, you know, they're not YouTube, not you anymore. You know, there's no you in YouTube anymore. Sharing links in the comments, if it's in a live chat room, a lot of the time we're okay. You know, it seems to work all right with most links. Some things just don't show up, unfortunately. They just sort of vanish into the ether. But often we can share links in this fashion. If you try posting them to a comment under the video after the broadcast, they might not show up. Yeah, YouTube just disappears them.
Yeah,
whereas if we share them while we're live, usually we get away with that. So
they put your spam folder all the way at the bottom of all of your comments. I remember when they said that they were moving that. Oh yeah. So this is creepy. This is from 2015. And this is the Bacillus subtilis spores again. This is like they want to put for the probiotics, or not want to. They already have. The one brand is Just Thrive. People shouldn't be taking probiotics out of a bottle. I don't know. I don't like anything. I don't like any capsules or pills or anything. It's just so creepy anymore. But this was to help with drippy ice cream. Oh, the biofilm. But yeah, it's crazy. Some of the probiotics, like that Just Thrive company, they advertise. They are proud of the fact that they say that their probiotics can cause up to 25 antibiotics to be created inside of you. It's like, what? Yeah. It's
wow.
That's like an invading army.
It is. Oh my gosh. But then they say how they want to ice cream, you scream. Maybe they give you a cookie or probiotic ice cream. You know, these aren't even new. I don't think this one is either. This is 2018. But yeah.
I picked that from on Jeff's video where he's covering that advertisement. In the background of that advertisement, there's a song playing where it's just that, you know, ice cream for you, ice cream for me. And it just keeps repeating. Yeah. Repetition is a key to mind control.
Yeah. And the spore bacteria getting in you made me think of this MIT thing, the 5 ways to get CRISPR into the body. And this is from 2017, but one of them was gels and creams, but drinkable or edible CRISPR. How great would that be? You know?
Especially if it tastes like vanilla ice cream.
Oh, yeah. They say that they could add it to the good bacteria or a probiotic that someone could take. Anyway. It's all such a nightmare.
Well, what was I going to say? Never mind. I lost my thought. Hold on.
Oh,
you continue.
I'll just swap to this one for a sec. No, not that one. Sorry, I'm getting lost.
No,
tweaking me own. Oh no, stopped all the screens.
All of all of the foods, all of the drinks, all these things that if it's got probiotics, I would say stay away from it. But it's all so scary anymore because you just don't know. Like, they don't have to put things on the ingredients list when they're including the science experiment versions if they have some of the actual natural version in there too. They get away with so much. You can't trust any of it. I know I have a clip queued up. It'll probably be part of this other thing that I'm working on. But yeah, Jeff and I used to talk about it all the time. The only way is you have to meet your farmer. You got to go. And even then, you have to let them know that all this crazy stuff is going on. I wish I was good at making like flyers and stuff. I would put together something and put it on the website for people to print off. There's some kind of warning information because this stuff it's being incorporated into seeds. It's being put on seeds. The animals, all these people, I see all these people on YouTube and whatnot that they're homesteading and they're ordering their chicks. It's like they already talk about that they can CRISPR the chicks to make them glow under certain lights so that they can not send you a boy if you only want girls. All this, it's just so crazy.
In Israel, they were working on featherless chickens to make the processing quicker.
Oh, that's awful.
There's probably other things they've been trying to manipulate as well, like how many legs they've got.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, Boris Johnson in a UN address was talking about limbless chickens and stuff like that. How they would synthetically grow the meats.
Yeah.
But I think this really ties in with the big food crisis that's coming. Like they're trying to wipe out all the farming and all that stuff and make it all digital, and a lot of it will have to be on the microbiological level with their precision fermentation, they call it, and that overlaps with nanotechnology too.
Oh yeah.
Well,
so everything's gonna be 3D printer food, as far as I'm concerned. There's a company in Israel called Savor Eats. The machine that they make 3D prints their food and cooks it in 6 minutes. And the ink packs or whatever that come with it, they can stay on a store shelf, like on a cupboard shelf, for 6 months. There's a lot of sixes in there.
I was just wondering where's the third 6 come in. Is there like 6 grams in each package or something?
I'd have to find the article again. I swear there's like another 6 in there.
This was the link that Taz had shared on PubMed. Highly photoresponsive CNO nanorod-based photo detector for operation in the visible spectral range. So I'm guessing this is connected to the luciferase, the microdot concept system, where they want to be able to read the relevant contents about your information straight from your biology. If it contains this nanorod stuff. I was just quickly skimming through the abstract.
Another thing on the marking people, like not necessarily the luciferase stuff, which I did see mentioned in a Defense News article. I always wonder, I was like, could that really be real? Yeah, even they're talking about it there. But the spore bacteria that sorry to always keep going back to the spore bacteria, but this stuff that they want to get in us, they're also the barcoding of all of the produce, how they want to put it on your tomato to know where your tomato was grown and where it went and when it's boiled and everything about it. There's an article that I don't have ready that is talking about how they wanted farmers to be able to label every leaf of lettuce that they're growing, every leaf of lettuce, and how they do it is to wash off the produce with water that contains Bacillus subtilis spores that have been tagged. And so that these spores, once they're on there, you can boil it, microwave it, fry it, everything, and it will not destroy these. And then what if you're eating that then, and it's going to pick something up from you possibly, and just to be able to tack and track. Yeah, or track and tag, tack and drag.
Is that linked? Sorry, is that linked with the IBM blockchain thing?
Oh yeah, it would be just same thing.
Jeff covered that a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
I believe he was like the first that I've seen that had like talked about the IBM blockchain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Right.
don't know necessarily if they're looking to use the bacillus spores too, but I know that that's one way that they're talking about being able to do that exact thing. Yeah.
It's another element where they're putting their copyrighted labels into you. You know,
Yeah.
they want to be able to track, because this is something that I think is just sort of taken as a given. Again, it's one of them things that they just leapfrog over. They don't want people to question this kind of thing. You know, but you will become a walking container of corporate copyrighted material. And then the questions begin of like, well, how much is actually you and how much is their ownership? Do they own you because their copyrighted material has been added to your biology, to your DNA? Because the RNA can affect your DNA, therefore it can become part of you. So which is you and which is their corporate product?
And if they've killed off all the natural life inside of you and replaced it with their creations, yeah.
I think that's right. That's why, like, I've tried to explain how I feel that the concept of the injected tracking chip, you know, it's been around for a long time. You know, I've been on this thread for nearly 3 decades about this idea of them injecting a tracking chip into you and things like that. They don't really need to. No. And that concept is used as like a nightmare over the horizon that they use as a stick to steer the public with, the public's thinking. And one of the things they steer people away from by using that concept is, for one thing, you are already tracked and traced if you're walking around with a smart device in your hand. Yeah, that is the chip. It's just that it's outside of your body at the moment. But the most likely way that they will introduce that kind of tracking technology is through this kind of biotech. So you walk through a detector, and the detector will literally list all the labels of the brand corporate stuff that you've got in you. So, you know, if you're predominantly Johnson & Johnson or you're predominantly AstraZeneca, yeah, whatever the particular corporation is that's produced that particular genetic thing, that nano thing that's in you, that's what they detect and that's what they're tracking. And this is fundamentally why all the governments are in lockstep, not quite all of them worldwide, but the majority of them are in lockstep to persuade their population to accept a track and trace system on the justification that you need it to protect your health because of this, you know, alleged illness that's going around. So this is exactly why they want that track and trace system in place, so they can monitor your biological content and how that affects you.
Oh, and that's part of the personalized medicine. You know, they're selling that as a great thing. Yeah, that they've got to.
And it does absolutely tie into that blockchain, the Internet of Things or the Internet of Bodies. You know, it's all keyed into that. They want to be able to track everything down to the microscopic level, which includes all this kind of biotech that they're tricking into you by adding it into your environment in one way or another.
Yeah.
You'll have to put your screen share back up because I accidentally turned them all off when I was trying to swap over.
That's all right. I turned it off too for a second because I was loading other things in there. I had something else to point at. I don't know if anybody had anything there. Hold on. I don't know, you might have heard me mention that Perfect Day Foods. They were kind of what got me going at looking at all of this stuff back in the beginning. Anyway, they would advertise as that being the molecular equivalent. Like they put the genes for the dairy in yeast cells and brew it up, and they call it like dairy identical. Anyway, they launched their ice cream, their label, I think last year. But anyway, now they say it's in over 5,000 stores. And I thought the name was pretty funny. I don't know. I have it there ready for you, Cookie.
All right. So
it's a brave robot. I thought that was fun. Yeah.
There's another one of the oxymorons that they love to put out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. A robot cannot be brave by the definition of the word robot, and if you look into the origins of where the word comes from, I suppose if you look at the original Polish, you could claim that what they're referring to is the brave slave, because the word originally comes from a word to represent somebody who is enslaved to somebody else's will. So they're almost like an automaton or a golem in other ways of defining the concept. They have no free will of their own. They're just acting as a flesh puppet for whoever is telling them what to do.
And what if they have their biological nanobots as part of what's created with these proteins and whatever? Because these guys aren't they wouldn't just be turning you into the robot with their brave robot. The Perfect Day people, they have launched, why is it not showed up there? They've launched now with other names. There's this Smitten they've partnered with to provide their dairy identical, this Nix company, and one in Hong Kong. They're spreading out. Yeah.
I know this might be a little bit pedantic. It's just me doing my pedantic kind of thing. The Smitten smitten is a derivative of smite, and to smite someone or something is to do it serious damage.
Yeah.
The idea when you smite something, you are in effect destroying it with your mighty blow. So to call it smitten ice cream, it's like, this is the ice cream that's going to destroy you.
These guys, the Nix, this is some weird stuff because they do like 100 calorie. They call it the better for you, but they say in here that they use in their ice creams, they feature this EPOG foods fat replacing ingredient, EPG, which is rapeseed oil based fat substitute that can reduce fat calories by 92% because the oil cannot be absorbed by your body.
I've seen similar. Yeah, I know what you mean. It sort of makes you poop it out.
Yeah. And
I wonder, that's now just made me wonder as well, with that kind of alteration of your gut biome, could they make your gut potentially produce the ice cream itself? Take Soylent Green to a whole new brown level.
Oh, I know these guys here, the Nix, they already had a few product lines on the market, but now they said that within later this month, which the article from that was at the beginning of February, but that they would have 7 more flavors. So
it's all still synthetic ice cream, but you can have lots of different flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you get the commercialism thing now, folks? Yeah, you can choose whatever you want as long as you choose what we offer you. Yeah, you can have Conservative or Labour, you can have Republicans or Democrats, but them are the choices. Those are your flavors of ice cream.
It's too much. Did you get to watch Cookie? I don't know. Venomnymous, did I tell you? The ice cream truck song? I don't know. Do you guys have the ice cream trucks up there in Canada that play their songs? Did you know it's racist?
No.
Did you know that song is racist? Because it is. I saw that.
Yeah, I did watch it earlier when you sent it to me, and it says it's based on an old song called "Nigger Love a Watermelon."
Oh my goodness!
From 1916, which is why it supposedly has that racist connotations over it. But, if we go back in time, you can do that with anything and everything, because at some point in history you'll find an example that is no longer accepted in today's environment, today's society and culture and whatever, so therefore it becomes something that's now bad. So we don't do a lot of things that they used to do in the past. That doesn't mean that we destroy what we're doing now. Every child who goes to that ice cream van, when they're a young child, they have no concept of the ideology that is called racism. They only learn about racism when an adult tells them about it.
For sure. And times have changed because they're talking about using ice cream trucks to help deliver vaccines to the people of color, basically, to minority areas.
That's a good connection as well, because they keep stressing the point about how the BAME community, the BAME as they now like to refer to them, and to me it's just derogatory, but whatever, that's the government. The BAME community have the lowest uptake of the vaccine. They're the most hesitant, supposedly, allegedly. So that's a good connection, and they're talking about using the ice cream vans to take them around the neighborhoods, kind of thing. That's, again, creepy shit.
I wonder if they'll play the music when they're driving in with their vaccine truck.
That would be nice.
Ice cream truck.
It was, the song was redone by, was it Wu-Tang Clan? Some guy from that, Cookie, I don't know if you remember the video. I think it was put out a week ago or something, but it was from that Edelman group, that propaganda machine video that I did. The people that also ran the smooth over Bill Gates image back however long ago, they did the whole PR to make people love him again.
Yeah.
Which worked, because my dad told me just the other day that he believes that Bill Gates is a modern day hero. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've hated Bill Gates since the 90s.
And you're a smart cookie.
When the video first come out of him getting the pie in the face at the trial for the Monopoly case, I thought, yes! I could say a lot of nasty stuff, and it's just me ranting about it. But yeah, I haven't liked the guy for 2 decades.
Now he just needs an ice cream cone smashed in his face.
Yeah.
A synthetic ice cream.
Yeah, then they can push the ice cream, so it wouldn't be that bad.
But just to mention as well, for context, is like here in the UK, ice cream vans don't have a singular kind of theme tune. Different companies use different music, and the way the industry is, there can be like sole traders. It's just one guy running his own business, and he's got a van and he plays the music that he's chosen or he's paid for or whatever. And you can get various things like the theme tune from the Popeye cartoon show, things like that, as well as classic nursery rhymes, So I think they'll struggle to introduce that idea over here that ice cream truck music is racist. I think it's a struggle just in the USA, the claim that it's racist. It's like, what? How to introduce children to the concept and ideology of racism? Well, get them when they're young, when they're buying ice cream at the ages of like 3, 4, 5 years old. Stuff it into their heads then.
Oh, my.
Layers of indoctrination. I'll just show as well. I forgot the one. Yeah, I've got the page open. Just that image of from the video you shared with me earlier. Just to say, we're not making it up. There was actually a story around that concept of the ice cream truck song. It's based on a racist song from 1916. And in the I don't want to play these videos just in case they cause copyright issues, but they go on to explain why it's so naughty and it's racist. And
I like how they had all the news people saying the same thing. I love when they show that. Yeah.
Good example of syndication.
Mm-hmm.
Only 6 companies dominate the media environment. Certainly in the USA, 6 companies.
I like how
the illusion of choice. These are all different flavors of ice cream, but you're still eating ice cream.
The local paper in my town has now been gobbled up by USA Today, and they've slowly been shifting it over to look USA Today format. They're great.
The other one you shared as well, I think.
Yeah, the little babies thing. That's another one of the little babies. Now it's crazy. And at the end, there's like a tongue. They're like, we love licking you or whatever. And it's this big tongue comes in to lick him. And I did see that was attached to, back in the day, the Pizzagate stuff, the little baby's ice cream, which how could it not be?
Yeah. Subtle coding and what do they call it? Like a hidden language messaging, sending secret messages through the symbology they're using. But the one thing I wanted to show about this is that kind of infinity connection again.
Yeah.
That they demonstrate to do with, well, you're trapped in this technocratic nightmare, but at least you got ice cream.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're actually licking the content out of your brain. There you go. You see the big tongue comes on the screen. Because if you noticed in the earlier imagery, part of her head is missing.
Yeah.
Because her brain has been removed.
So you think that's a girl?
Yeah. Judging by
Really?
judging by the shape of the face, the cheekbones, the curve of the shoulder, the wrists, the hands.
I'll
There's
invite
lots
you to
of
check out the trending page on YouTube. There's some very feminine looking boys. No, just kidding.
well,
There
yeah.
are.
With all the estrogen in the environment now, yes,
Yeah.
there is. But these are usually common biological traits of the female form. You know, men are much more angular on the collarbone. They have wider wrist bones. They have chunkier hands in general.
Freaky no
cheekbones.
matter what. It's really creepy. I don't like this person's face. I don't like it.
But to me, it
I'm
reminded
gonna have
me.
to
of
agree with you on that.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of some of the subtle undertones that Jeff was pointing out in his sort of dismantling of this advertisement. Yeah, in their one, they're still making the same connotations. One, it's that infinity, the number 8 again. You know, the kind of transhumanism, eternity that they want to trap people into by virtualizing their existence. But in doing so, she has to have her brain removed. Yeah, so her sense of self, her ability to cognate for herself, all those kind of things gone. No, there's just physical sensation of enjoying eating ice cream. You don't need anything beyond the physical. This is a constant thing that they try to push people back down in a, you know, I'm not suggesting Darwin was 100% correct, but push you back down that evolutionary tree. You are nothing but an animal. What you think does not matter. Just what you consume matters. Yeah, what gives you sensation, physical senses, and the trap of the flesh, that kind of connotation. Yeah, and Jeff references these kind of connections in the video where he's pointing the same thing out. Yeah? The woman is trapped in a virtual white void hell where there is no one else. There's just a robot who constantly turns up to stuff ice cream in her face.
The whole Space Odyssey theme is very important here because when those monoliths were coming out, I think the main point of the monolith things was not just the symbolism of evolution, but it wanted to point everyone to watch that movie again, the Space Odyssey, 2001 Space Odyssey.
Which I still have never seen.
Movie, there's parts in that movie like the food.
Yeah.
In the beginning, the apes learn to eat meat, but later on, when they go to the future, everyone's eating synthetic meat, and all their food is synthetic. It's very telling.
I'm just trying to find where he's showing the imagery, because I sort of interpreted the concept of the monolith is to represent the ability to express will upon this reality. So in other words, the ability to change this reality to suit your choices. And in the Arthur C. Clarke's sense, the reason he included it in the way he did in the symbolism is it does represent that kind of like evolution of technology. It's letting the little civilization of mankind who's just starting to emerge from the womb of their own planet, i.e. a level 0 civilization, when they start to achieve level 1 of a civilization, in other words, the ability to harness the entire energy production of their planet, then they can advance out into space. And what is it they discover? A monolith that represents the fact that there's somebody or something already out there that has been through this evolutionary technological process before them. So it's sort of saying like, we are your creator, or possibly, you know, it opens up that possibility of, hang on a minute, were we put here by aliens? Is it actually an alien I'm communicating with, or is this a representation of God? You know, there's a lot of subtle connotations in his work in that sense, but that's, to me, that's what it represented the way he showed it in the story. You know, and Jeff points out these kind of connections with the rise in the cultural media, the rise of certain messages, which includes what we've just been talking about, that reference to ice cream, something that you ingest, that you enjoy, simple physical sensations, but it's a medium that can act as a vehicle to alter your very existence. You know, like we were showing earlier, the machines that can add pharmaceuticals and vaccines into an ice cream product and then package it and market it to the general populace in a way that they use the most up-to-date methodologies that have been developed in marketing to make people desire and want this stuff. Whereas really it's something that if they were given full informed consent, they would probably choose not to ingest it. But they want this evolutionary step to take place. So I do agree on totally. This was a deliberate marker that was timed for release during all the stuff that was happening last year.
You said the evolutionary step. It made me think with the changing the tiny life inside of us. That's how they refer to when they're changing the tiny life inside of the plants, is that it's this whole step change that they can do without having to do genetic modification, just by tinkering with the little life inside.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I do. I was going to say believe, but that's not the right word. I know, I have gnosis. I am confident in my knowledge that a major part of the way reality works is in a fractal fashion. So what affects the micro will have a cascading effect on the macro. Yeah, in a similar reference, the video you put up recently about what goes on goes in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your skin is the largest organ of your body. It's the surface that is the closest. It is the direct interaction with your environment. So it absorbs and filters content and pollutants, etc., that are in your environment. So in the same fashion, your gut is the first place that has contact with things from your external environment. So if you alter that gut biome, that has a cascading fractal effect on the rest of your biology. So you don't need to grab a person and chop and change them from the top of the pyramid down. You can do that, and part of their agendas are working on that process. Yeah, that's a lot about the psychology of making people accept the idea of transhumanism and leaving their body, etc. But you can also approach it from what is, in a way, the base of the pyramid. Affect people's gut biome, and it will affect the rest of their biology, which would include their thinking, their mentality, their energetic self as well. So they're sort of prodding at the base of the pyramid to cause ripple effects that run through all of the pyramid.
Well, and they say that your body is always remaking itself, at different speeds and whatnot. So if you're recreating yourself with their technology, I have a couple other links open, but I know I don't want to forget. Venomnymous, you were telling me earlier about a radio thing, or it was an audio. Are you there? Can you talk right now?
The Android,
the warp speed thing. No, the warp speed thing. That
Operation.
You had emailed.
I have a clip of a radio show, like a military radio show, where they were interviewing this guy from the Department of Defense who was working on Operation Warp Speed, and he happens to also, as a civilian, work at GlaxoSmithKline, and he was also an employee at Unilever Ice Cream. So
Nice.
Corporate swing door.
It's actually a pretty interesting little interview, because he talks about how they were doing tabletop exercises on things that could happen, like a power outage that could damage the cold chain kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little interesting clip, but you can. I'm thinking I might just put it on my channel or something later. You don't have to play it now.
And then I have some of the other things that you had sent me before, just on how ice cream is popping up places. I have my screen shared again, Cookie. That I've got the GameStop thing. I don't have the tweet open.
Oh yeah, that's a really weird one too. So Buddy, some guy, I can't remember his name, but he's like a board member at GameStop, and he posts an ice cream cone picture with a frog emoji on his Twitter, and then shortly after, GameStop has another huge spike in its stock.
Like the ice cream message is getting through.
It's like they've just that terminology, ice cream. It's almost, I feel anyway, maybe just the way I'm seeing it, but it's almost as if their main goal at the moment is just to attach that phrase, that label, that concept of, you know, something you ingest that you enjoy to various narratives. So it's almost like saying, hey guys, the whole idea that GameStop value is going to go up is like ice cream. It's something you want, it's something you'd enjoy. So here you go, he's just a picture of an ice cream, yeah?
And it's McDonald's. Ew.
So it's not really ice cream, yeah?
No.
But hopefully that makes sense. You know, they're trying to attach the concept of something that's nice and enjoyable and people like it, most people like it, to whatever narrative. So, you know, they want to tell you about the latest information about COVID. They just give you a story about ice cream in relation to COVID, like the one you showed earlier, you know, COVID found in ice cream.
Yeah. And then VenomnymouS also sent this one, The Simpsons. Did they predict the Russian coronavirus vaccine ice cream incentive? That looks like a delicious bowl of needles.
Yeah. The picture I sent with it is the part I think that's more important, that they would use the vaccine as for mind control. I think that's the part of the Simpsons thing that people get lost in when they're focusing on the ice cream aspect of it. They're missing out on the whole the mind control aspect of it.
Is that in this article?
Yes, I think so. I think it's in the one I shared, the link.
I know I could pull up the image if I stop the screen share.
They do that a lot with Simpsons. So although I think maybe this is common to a lot of that kind of method of presenting the information. It's not truly hidden, but it is occulted. It is slightly hidden. You know, the main point you're supposed to absorb is not the ice cream. It's the point about mind control. But for a lot of people, what they fixate on and what they focus on, they think is the main thing that they're supposed to notice. You know, so they focus on and see the ice cream and think that, oh yeah, it's about the ice cream. But like you say, really what it's about is mind control. The ice cream is just the vehicle. It could have been something else, you know? It could have been Pop-Tarts. But again, I think they're playing on that idea that most people like ice cream. So it's something that you want and desire. So they're trying to sort of trick you by offering you some sugar. Although sugar's not bad, not good for you, is it? So it doesn't
not too much, at least.
Yeah.
I
Moderation.
have that screen share on again with the mind control. Sorry. That part. Sure. That's what you were talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's flu vaccines. The flu doesn't even exist anymore, guys.
No,
right?
I guess you just debunked it. No, I can't use that.
We're good.
Thanks.
We're good.
Well,
we're done. End of story.
Over the course of this week, I think some of the media is starting to catch up on that, because I saw that as a headline on RT either yesterday or the day before. You know what they're like, just one of their little kind of like video package news things, basically saying that, you know, COVID has killed off the flu. So they're now starting to repeat on mainstream media subjects and ideas that we'd been talking about in the not mainstream media for the entire year. You know, we've been saying this for an entire fucking year, and now they're starting to actually allow it to reach into the mainstream. That, to me, that's a good indicator, which is why recently I've said, like, I think we are approaching the worst that it's going to get. They seem fixated on pushing for the passports primarily now, and that's really what it hinges on.
Before I run out of time here, I want to jump over. This was a like it's a joke. It's a joke article from December. Do you see that with the mRNA vaccine will be stored in tubs of ice cream? But anyway, it's satire. But the penguins there, VenomnymouS found me this article again because I lost it, and I don't know how it popped up right for you. I sat and went through page after page.
I think they knew you were looking for it. That's why they hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started fresh, and it was like, there you go, first thing.
Yeah. Well, the penguins made me think of, and this horrible baby with their ice cream cone and the needle. But it made me think of all the penguins that people had showed before with the Fauci and his penguin mask, right?
Yeah.
He's got a couple of those.
Oh,
that's a different one.
He has to double and triple mask, right? So he needs multiples and one to wash and one to wear. And then you had sent me the link to this video where he's got the penguin back here in the background, right?
Yep. He loves his penguins.
Yeah. And then the lady that got the first shot in the UK there with her penguin sweater. Yeah. And then a friend had sent me that the Chinese authorities reassure residents that the anal swab won't make them walk like a penguin. And they said that this was debunked, that that's not why they were waddling like that. That they said it was something like circumcision, actually. I don't know. But the reason I wanted to talk penguin just for a second, I just wanted to tell you guys. So I was reading this book that I've only got halfway through. Actually, I stopped a couple months ago reading it, but it's H.G. Wells' The Shape of Things to Come.
Mm-hmm.
Read it?
Yeah, years ago.
Well, in the book, it's talking at one point, because it's like, okay, so this book is like a guy went into, or he would go to sleep or go somewhere, go into the future. Maybe it was dreams, and he wrote down the history, and it was a friend of his published it. I think Wells is saying that he's the friend that was going to publish this book. Anyway, part of the history they're talking about how and I'm not saying this is real. I don't know what's real and what's just made up in this book, but it's talking about how this one professor had been studying the relative stupidity of the more intelligent animals up to and including man. And he's talking about these various species of penguins that were swept out of the world by the oil hunters. And he's saying how even though that they appeared to be, there were no scientific observations that they could note, but that the penguins appeared to be relatively intelligent, but that the evidence of their kindness and curiosity and all this stuff was in that they were very teachable. But when they were being slaughtered by these oil hunters, that all the penguins would just stand there and watch it happen to all of their fellows and just wait their turn, that they didn't ever waddle off to try to get away from it. And wait, let me see. They were saying at the end here that, or not at the end, but at the end of that section, that nothing was done by the penguins, and that they were just like the humans, that when people would come to slaughter them, that nothing would be done to stop it. And funny on all of it was the guy was quoting extensively from this person who was showing the nature of the danger that was clearly seen and clearly and publicly stated. And that guy his last name was Snowden. I don't know. I was entertained by that, but pointing out the obvious trouble we all have. Anyway, I just thought that it was funny that they're talking about, not funny, it was sad, but that they just would stay there waiting to be massacred and doing nothing, no flight or resistance, they said.
A bit like dodos.
Yeah. But instead they're just penguins. And
I think he's using it as a connotation for what they also refer to as the undead, the useless eaters. The brainless ones, the zombie apocalypse. This is a recurring theme with the kind of people that have written and designed and pushed a lot of these agendas, all of them really. They view the majority of other people as being ignorant animals. Like we were talking about earlier with the removal of the woman's brain because she loves the ice cream so much, that kind of dehumanization. You are not a thinking being with your own cognitive ability to make free will choices and make your own decisions and observations on reality. No, you are just a dumb animal that is subordinate to your sensations, your physical senses. And they constantly try to remind or indoctrinate, to re-imprint on the general populace that is the imagery you should have of yourself. You are only considered enlightened when you are able to conceive of certain concepts and ideas that we have kept deliberately occulted from you, and we will hint at them. We will present you symbolic messages about these concepts and ideas, but you have to demonstrate that you are more than just an animal by being able to figure out that symbolic language and comprehending the messages that we're sending you. This is like the front door entrance to their little club. You can only get in if you can figure out where the entrance is and how to open it. That's their test in a way. Prove yourself to not be an animal. And this is the kind of stuff where that ideological concept that's foundational to their attitudes spreads into the media and the education system as well. Various elements of our society, such that it indoctrinates people en masse through the system. So most people grow into an adult that has very short expectations of themselves beyond being a slave to their own physical sensations in one way or another. This is how they keep people stuck in the matrix. They prevent people from being able to develop themselves through their own self-discovery kind of thing. They deliberately misdirect people away from that kind of thing. So I'm digressing a little bit. The point I was trying to make, was the reason Wells is using that example in his story was as a metaphorical connection, a metaphorical example of the dumb population, the useless eaters, who will be capable of being trained to be a beast of burden like a donkey, but will stand there and allow itself to be slaughtered when it's done its job and you've had enough of it and you want to toast it on a fire. And he's I think he's one of the more relevant foundational supposed thinkers. I use that word loosely. He's one of the foundational thinkers that helped to craft a lot of the ideas, the concepts, the ideologies that have led to the agendas that we're referring to with a lot of this stuff. So this concept of them repeating like a meme the trope of remember the penguins, remember the penguins, remember the penguins, you are a penguin. It also brings in that connotation of being frozen again as well. You are just one of the frozen souls trapped in the realms of hell. You just got to wait for us to get to you to be cold.
We talk about those extinct penguins. It makes me think of the Denver airport mural. There's that one where they've already conquered all the hate and stuff like that, and it's all the children. And in the centerpiece, there's this weird looking plant thing, like a rainbow plant. But there's also a penguin in there, encased in glass. It's like an extinct version of a penguin.
Really?
It's an extinct species of one, I mean.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wonder if the artist was making reference to that H.G. Wells story. He might have been.
Maybe. Yeah. That's what made me think of it when Camilla was talking about the penguins thing. So I was thinking about that. It's like how many different species got wiped out?
Yeah, I don't know, but it was also, this was published in 1933. So I had the 33 in there.
Yeah. It could be another part of the tapestry. Those little indicators I said that are like tests. Did you notice this little chunk of information? No. Almost like little signposts that point towards the occulted pathway. You can't quite make that pathway out in the light that's available to you, but there's little signposts now and then to remind you where the edge of the pathway is, so you can keep finding your way if you choose to follow it. I'm not recommending people get into occultism kind of stuff. I just mean in that metaphorical way of how they present this information. They have to as far as I know, anyway, I'm saying they have to. I think there's enough evidence to show that they do, for whatever their reasoning. They have to let the victim know in one way or another, but they're not required to make that knowledge in a direct fashion or to present that knowledge in a direct fashion. They are allowed to do it through subtlety, through symbolic language and imagery.
Yeah, because then they told us, right? They informed
Exactly.
us. Yeah.
If they told us, that means there's no karmic debt on them.
Yeah.
It means it's our own damn fault for choosing to do what they're suggesting.
Yeah.
Now, this is all nasty, nasty, creepy trickery that they play on people. But this is how deep it goes. That kind of deliberately disingenuous and aggressive deception, because it is meant to do you harm. It's not being done in any way to try and help you. It's meant to keep you down and exploit your energy, etc., etc. That kind of trickery is foundational to the system. It's interwoven into the entire system from top to bottom. And we've just been looking at some of the examples of where you begin to see it emanate into the media. So you get these examples like references to the kind of symbolic connotation of those extinct penguins. You know, you are the penguins. Remember that movie about everybody loving the what was it, Happy Feet?
Oh yeah. I never saw it, but yeah.
I saw about 20 minutes of it and I thought, this is just ridiculous shit. I don't want to watch it. Yeah, everybody loved it and everybody wanted to be a penguin. Yeah, all the kids were waddling around going, yeah, look at me, I'm the penguin. You know, that's them re-imprinting the concept that you are just a dumb animal. You're just a dumb animal that follows orders. But we trick you. The sugar coating to make you swallow that concept is that we dress it up with this melody that makes you feel somewhat aspirational. But just like the flavors of ice cream, there may be a large selection to choose from, right? Various flavors to choose from, but you're still consuming the same base ice cream product, which is not really a natural product. It's something that we've created with our synthetic production systems to enable us to feed you crap. And you think it's lovely and you think you got lots of choice to choose from, but you've got no choice at all, really. Sorry, that sounds terribly oppressive, but you know, that is the way this stuff starts to reveal itself when you start pulling apart all the different threads so you can examine them closely.
I was when I was first discovered the penguin thing, I was like looking up the symbology of penguins, and a lot of it circles around back to what we've been talking about, evolution, and then there's also the order out of chaos, things like that, rebirth.
That's a good point. The order out of chaos is something that definitely, it's a major thing that's playing out at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, that's probably why Fauci likes it so much.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got the black and white, so.
Well, they did they're reporting, I can pull it up, I could find it. They're reporting like not an albino penguin, but like a yellow and white penguin. Did you see that? I've seen it several places.
Not seen it.
All right, let me look. I'll get it. But yeah, you said the black and white, so of course. Does yellow do anything?
Yellow's involved in that kind of. I use the reference satanic. You know, it's not just confined to Judeo-Christian, and it's not their foundation. You know, it's not their origin. It reaches back into ancient stuff. But yeah, the kind of color symbology, yellow is not exactly a good color, even though it's often used to refer to the sun and light and things like that. It's not actually. It's an off color of the true lux. The true lux is pure, bright white light. You know?
And it kind of brings to mind the hive sort of thing, the yellow.
Like honey.
I have it screened. Yeah, there you go. It's kind of creepy looking too. I don't know if it's even real, but
it's kind of almost like honey mustard color, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like watching the natural world. You know, watching the birds and stuff like that.
Is
this a species or just like a genetic thing?
I don't know. I think they were just saying it's just some rare penguin.
Mutism. That's an interesting terminology.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Again, like I was just describing, it's not the true light. It's the faux light, the fake light, the off-color light. So the true light, the lux, would be pure white, whereas this being slightly yellowish, it's just off-color, and the academic terminology, lucism, luciferase, lucis.
Yeah.
Where does that word come from? The light bringer who brings the not true lux light. He brings the slightly off-white light, yeah? All right. So I'd highly recommend, folks, if you haven't spent the hour and 20 minutes watching it, I did put a link in for it earlier, but I'll put it in the chat again now, just in case for latecomers to the channel, maybe, or latecomers to the broadcast anyway. I mean, this is the link to the JeffC video, which we mentioned at the start. The one he did titled "This Will Blow Your Mind," where he's talking about a lot of these connections to do with the promotion of certain ice cream products, or, you know, synthetic ice cream, not a real ice cream, and the very deep connected connotations that link back through the imagery, the symbology, the subtle messaging that is included in this modern marketing presentation that we're told is, you know, oh, we just want to sell you ice cream because everyone loves ice cream. When you start adding in a lot of the stuff that's been happening over the last year to do with the alleged supposed illness, then this concept of, oh, well, at least in the dystopian nightmare technocratic future, there'll still be ice cream. I'm sorry, Dave, but the computer says you're not allowed any ice cream.
Or you have to eat more ice cream. Your levels are low.
In the world, there's 17.
Yeah.
17
flavors of ice
penguin.
cream. Is that really?
There you go.
17 species.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
17 species of penguin.
Is that only because
That's 17 again.
That new yellow one? Yeah. I was just wondering whether have they introduced that yellow one because they needed to find the extra one to say 17. So therefore the 17th was this new yellow one that they've discovered. That is an interesting connection, and the 17 again. Yeah. Did you want to wrap it up there? I know you said you had to go soon, that you were running out of time.
Yeah, I'm sure I've forgotten things that I wanted to share, and maybe we can do this again sometime. And hopefully, we wanted our friend Twaddle. Enough of this Twaddle was going to be here, but he hasn't been heard from since Texas fell apart. So, think good thoughts for Twaddle. So.
Yeah, hopefully he's all right. There's that cold freeze again effect, you know, slowing everything down, bringing life to a standstill.
Yeah,
I hope he's all right. I was going to say,
he's a tough guy.
Yeah,
I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
I know you're saying you forgot stuff, and I was going to say, I know it might sound bad, but I'm glad you forgot some things, because then that's a good reason for us to come back and do this again.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I've
got loads.
There's always more stuff.
Yeah.
I'm certainly happy to do it again. We'll have to discuss it offline and whatever, and find out, you know, how often and what time and things like that, and we'll arrange it. And hopefully we can get a few more people involved. If Twaddle can make it, or some others, we can have a few more people in the room. Maybe make it a bit more of a general coverage of subjects, and include a little bit of JeffC's work and his music every now and then, so that we don't forget the inspiration that he added into this conversation. He may not be able to be here with us anymore, but he can be here in spirit, as it were. We can reference some of his work, and I've got a couple of his music tracks on file, so I'm quite happy to play them and other music every now and then if we want to, and sharing videos and stuff is not a problem. Do you want to mention your channels, your websites, etc. before we go? I did put links in the info box, but just in case people can't see the info box.
Yeah, sure. Please Stop the Ride on YouTube and on BitChute, but I haven't been able to upload, I think, the last 2 or 3 videos. I've even tried the one a couple times and they said, try it again, but nothing's happened. So I don't know about that. And then pleasestoptheride.com. That's where everything's at there. And yeah,
Cool.
check it out. There's lots of interesting and scary things.
So my main channel is I Am a Werewolf, but I am currently at 2 strikes right now, so I can't really do much on there. So my backup channel is VenomnymouS Meet the Savage. They keep dead linking my backup channel on my main channel, so I don't know. Like, just search it because they won't let me share the link. I'm also on like a bunch of other platforms, BitChute, Odyssey. That's like Library TV or whatever, the same thing. And anywhere, I'm brand new tube, newtube.app. Just I'll be everywhere. I'm everywhere pretty much. So if you just type in VenomnymouS or anything like that, you'll find me. But another guy who wasn't able to do our show was Bug Smasher.
Oh, yeah.
And he had words he wanted to share for Jeff. He had like a little eulogy thing, and I said I'd read it for him. So maybe we could wrap it up with that.
Yeah, that's cool, definitely, yeah.
Okay. I got it in Twitter here, so.
Okay.
You guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
Jeff has had an enormous impact on how I view this world. Despite always being skeptical about the so-called society around us, it was really until I discovered Jeff's channel in 2014 that I began to scrutinize every narrative and every major story that was being presented to us, both in the mainstream as well as in the kosher alternative outlets that I have been a fan of prior to that. I watched Jeff grow in his understanding of how our present diabolical global system operates, and I grew together with him. I watched him go through personal trials and tribulations, enduring all the smear campaigns and attacks like a true man, with dignity and stoicism, and even some snarky humor. Even though we did not agree on everything all the time, Jeff was always a true gentleman to those that he believed to be genuine people. His perseverance and resilience in the face of constant censorship is also worthy of the highest respect. Jeff simply never gave up. A true fighter. I will really miss his laughter, his fiery monologues, and of course, the banging of the table, the highlight of every video. Rest easy, my friend. You will always be with us in this struggle. So that was from Bug Smasher.
That's cool, man. Thank you. Thanks to Bug Smasher for that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he's welcome to come and join in if we do more of these. So
Yeah, maybe I'll ask him and stuff next time.
Cool.
See what he says.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up with that, folks. Thanks for tuning in and joining in the chat. If you're chatting in the chat room, and thanks for listening and giving us your attention for a couple of hours. Yeah, well, I think we've done all right, really, about just over 2 hours, 2 hours, 20 minutes-ish. Yeah. So I'm not certain when exactly we'll do the next one. We'll chat off air and see what we can figure out. It might be around the same time, it might not be, but please keep your eye open. Please check people's channels. Remember, you cannot rely on the platforms anymore. They won't always show notifications for people's videos being uploaded or new broadcasts or anything like that. So yeah, it requires a little bit of effort on everyone's part to keep checking on stuff to see what's happening and keep sharing the information with each other. Word of mouth is the most reliable way to keep passing on this information, these messages. Yeah. We can use their stuff for now while they still keep allowing us to make use of it as best as we can. Can't rely on it. And we shouldn't keep all the eggs in one basket, all that usual kind of stuff that people repeat because it's worth knowing. Yeah, anyway, thanks both for joining in.
Thank you, Cookie. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, VenomnymouS. That's great. Yeah.
Thanks again, folks. We'll say good night.
Thanks, everyone.